Yesterday, I got a call from a friend of Alex that he's in the hospital after being found unresponsive and full of cuts on his arms. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Gray in Between, where we explore the stories that thrive in the space between right and wrong, clear and confusing. I'm your host, Lola, and together we'll dive into the captivating tales from Reddit and beyond, where life's most complicated moments take center stage. Let's get into it. My boyfriend just gave me a religious ultimatum out of the blue while I'm out of state with my parents. I have no one to talk to. I, 21 female, have been dating my boyfriend Luke, 25 male, for 2.5 years. Our relationship has been very serious since 6 months in. We have been talking about getting engaged after I graduate college in the spring for about a year now. We even went to look at rings. Background: Luke was raised Catholic all his life, but when I met him, he was not very religious. Didn't go to church, never mentioned religion. I was raised in a non-denominational church, and although I believe in God, I am also not a very religious person. Around 6 months ago, Luke expressed to me that he has had an interest in delving deeper into his faith, something I full-heartedly supported. I even bought him some Catholic books to show my support. I was also open-minded about converting to Catholicism down the road as well if that's what he wanted. There were moments during our discussions where Luke mentioned some pretty hurtful stuff, like how he thought non-denominational churches were essentially fake and the way I believed in God was not right. I took this to be extremely offensive, but we talked it out and moved on. This is also the time when he confessed to me that he had been using pornography and pictures of his past friends to masturbate during the entirety of our relationship, despite being clear to me early on that he was against that type of stuff, even when I never thought twice about it or cared at the beginning. That came as a huge shock to me that he went an extra mile to deceive me, even though it was not needed. I was taken aback and hurt, but we have moved on. What? Ew! Fast forward to this week. I'm spending time at my family's out of state, and he texted me out of the blue yesterday that we are going to have to follow the Catholic rules of not using contraception, condoms, or even the pulling out method. I was shocked. I said, absolutely not. I want to plan our children, and I don't want to have a bunch of kids. He essentially became very preachy and said that it was God's will. It's a sin. And if he doesn't practice it, he will be committing sacrilege when taking communion. There was paragraphs of just really intense messages like that. Essentially, he said he is committed to being a good Catholic and that we can practice natural family planning. We literally talked for hours, and he will not compromise on this at all. He says that if I don't agree to this, our values are not the same and our relationship is over. All of this is over text and calls, as I don't fly back until next week. I am just so overwhelmed. We have been together for so long and we have made plans for our lives together. He has had a religious awakening and I feel as if I've been left behind. I was not considered in any of this. He has already known for at least a year that I want at most 2 children. I have been very transparent. He has agreed with me until now. We were on the same page. No logical or rational reasoning is getting through to him. I've begged him to call his mom, and she said, I think it's crazy now, but I was raised Catholic and did the same, and that's how your sister was born. And she says she does not have an opinion to give. Our lives are interconnected. We flew to a different state last month to look at where to live because we planned on moving after I graduated. He has a job lined up, and I've done months of job research in that area as well. We've told our parents about our plans to get married. I don't have family in my state. He's my person. I am alone. I've commuted to him from my college town to his place every week, a 2-hour drive, for 2.5 years because I had a flexible schedule. I love him and I'm heartbroken and I'm scared. I don't know what I should do. I don't know if our relationship is salvageable, even if he changes his mind. He is a very stubborn person, so it might happen. I feel disrespected and just blindsided. I don't know if I should just break up with him now or wait until I fly back next week. Okay, definitely wait. Break up with him, have this conversation in person, right? Text, phone calls, it's hard. You're trying to spend time with your family. I hate that he's having this conversation with you when he knows you're with your family. I hate when people do that, knowing like, if you're on vacation, if you're out and about and you're not here, why are you bothering me? Unless it's like a life or death situation, please do not bother me with this type of stuff. Second, have that conversation in person. Do I think he's going to change his mind? No. So what that means is that you have to prepare yourself because you're going to have to probably move on from this. Because if he's just stubborn about this, wait till other things in life. Marriage is not easy. It's all about compromise, and he doesn't look like he's giving you any room to squeeze in. And I get it's easier for me just to sit here and say that because you've invested so much, like your future has been revolved all around this, but it's definitely not what is there worth for you to consider. He doesn't want you to use birth control. What? You're only 21. Run away. Will he find someone who aligns with him like that? 100%. Is it you? No. The man's a walking red flag. I don't know. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know which one it is for this one, but he came into this revelation, but it's not. I'm glad he came into this before you guys got married. Imagine if he sprung this on you after you guys are already married. Then what? Look at it as a blessing that you found out now. Am I the asshole for accepting the prize money for winning a game I didn't know I was playing? So I, 21 female, went to my granddad's 80 male house last week and he handed me a jar full of cash with my name on it. He told me to count it and it came to $3,200. I asked him what it was for and he explained the rules of the game he had been playing with the whole family. From the 1st of December to the 31st of December, every time a member of the family visited him, he put $100 in the jar for every hour they spent with him. At the end of the month, the person who spent the most time with him would receive all of the money in their jar, and the others would get nothing. He obviously didn't tell anybody that he was doing this so that no one spent extra time with him to get the money. I won his game by $600, so 6 hours more than the person who came second, my uncle. At first, I didn't want to accept the money, only because I didn't think it was right to play games with people without them knowing, especially not your family. But after a while, he convinced me to take the prize money because I earned it. When I got home, I told my parents about the money and explained his game to them. I told my mom where she came on the scoreboard, 4th, and she was understandably upset at her father for making us unknowingly compete with each other. Then she told the rest of the family via a group chat. So now pretty much my whole family is mad at my granddad for doing this, but also me for accepting the money. He is an old man and he's not exactly a millionaire, so they think that I should have refused the money and confronted him for what he did. I think that if he is willing to play this game, then he obviously has no problem with giving the money away, and he did insist on me taking it. Also, he's always been a weird guy, so although I don't agree with what he did, I'm not too surprised. So I don't think I should have to start an argument with him about it. They are so losers. They're salty because they didn't spend as much time with their dad than you did with your grandpa. Sounds selfish. People are such sore losers. Dang. I guess people would say like, oh, you should have just kept your mouth quiet. But like, I would tell my mom, I'm like, no, look what your dad did. Look what grandpa gave me. He gave me all this money. Ha ha, hoo hoo. If that was me, like my mom would never go tell her siblings in a group chat. That's just weird. Like, I think that's asking for trouble. I don't think I would have told anyone. Unless like, I don't think I would have told people. I think if people should have known, I think that it should have come from the grandpa. But do I think you're wrong? Absolutely not. Am I the asshole for refusing to go to my little sister's high school graduation? I, 24 female, am the oldest of 3 sisters, 23 female and 17 female. My middle sister has extreme disabilities that required pretty much all of my parents' attention as a kid. Time, money, and any extra resources were all given to my middle sister so that she could have doctors, tutors, a special school, etc. From the age of 5, I was pretty much left to raise myself, and when my youngest sister was born, I pretty much raised her too. I struggled a lot in high school as I also have a mild version of my sister's disability, but it was ignored since hers was much more severe. My parents did not help me at all. They ignored my concerns about my grades, rejected my request for a tutor, and did not seem to care at all that I was pretty much failing. I did not even have time to study on my own, as much of my life at home revolved around taking care of my sisters. I managed to graduate and immediately took a retail job that I'm still at today. My youngest sister graduates this weekend and my parents asked me to attend. The thought literally makes me want to throw up. By the time my youngest sister hits high school, my middle sister no longer lived at home and she was on state benefits. That meant my parents suddenly had all the time and money in the world, which they used to get my youngest sister in an amazing private high school. They gave her tons of support and she is graduating with honors and has an offer to attend an Ivy League college. It may be childish, but I do not feel like it is fair at all. I don't hold a grudge against my sister and I've sent her a graduation card. But the thought of sitting through a whole ceremony and hearing my parents talk about all of her accomplishments is too much. They are extremely upset about the fact that I said I won't go. I haven't talked to my sister yet, but I assume she will be upset as well. So, am I the asshole? There's a little edit she has to before I get in. I've seen a lot of comments saying that choosing not to attend the graduation is some revenge plot against my parents. That is not it at all. I'm trying to protect my own feelings as well as not ruin my sister's celebration by being negative or jealous. I'm not good at hiding my feelings and I'm afraid she would be able to tell. I could care less about what my parents say or think. Also, my sister and I are not very close anymore. I moved out after I turned 18 and our contact has been limited. I truly don't know how she would feel about me missing the ceremony. Regardless, I will take your suggestions about taking her out for dinner separately from my parents so we can talk. You know what it is? I think therapy would greatly improve your life, but of course that shit's expensive, so I get why people can't do it. You were failed by your parents. And I really hope you're able to heal your inner child because like I understand exactly how you feel. It's like they're like over here boasting about their third daughter where it's like you weren't even given that opportunity to thrive, right? She was able to, you can't help but compare and say, well, if I was given the same circumstances as my sister, maybe I wouldn't be where I am today. I could have been in an Ivy League college. I could have been somewhere else in my life instead of trying to make ends meet, you know? I completely understand parents treating children differently. It sucks. And it's not your fault. It's on them. I think you need to do whatever it takes to be mentally healthy and stable and recover for what they caused you. And if that means not going to your sister's graduation, then so be it. My boyfriend and our circle of friends pranked me on my birthday and I ghosted them because of it. I, 27 male, met my probably soon-to-be ex-boyfriend Alex, 20 male, 2 years ago through a mutual friend of ours. I never expected he'd be interested in me because when I first met him, he had only been with women. He came out as bisexual to me and our friends not too long after that, and that same night he hinted that he was into me. We got to know each other more and eventually turned into the two of us dating. He's genuinely a sweet and awesome guy, quite introverted, but has a big heart and a real geek about the things he likes. I thought he'd be the one I would be marrying and all that, but I'm thinking that's not going to happen anymore. Last Monday was my birthday, and I went home early from work so that Alex and I can go out and enjoy ourselves. I told him earlier that day that I would go home early. When I opened the door, I was greeted by him laying on the couch while a woman I didn't know was on top of him. They were fully clothed, by the way. I was basically paralyzed and couldn't react at all. He eventually saw me and had a surprised look on his face, but he also looked like he was trying to hold his laugh in. The woman also looked like she was about to laugh as well. I also started to hear chatter from the kitchen and in our bedroom. Alex then shouts, "You guys can come out." And so our friends came out of the bedroom and kitchen holding gifts, party poppers, and a cake. I guess them shouting, "It's a prank, happy birthday," while turning the party poppers on snapped me back to reality because after they said that, I just quietly turned around and left. I didn't see their reactions when I did that, but I could hear them saying, "Oh shit," and "wait," and some other things I can't remember. When I heard them try to follow me, I hastened my pace until I reached my car and drove away. While driving, my phone started to get bombarded by text, calls, and messages from my boyfriend and our friends. When it got too distracting, I just turned off my phone and went to a hotel that's far enough from my place. By the time I got back to my hotel room, I just started sobbing on the floor. I think I blacked out from crying because when I woke up, it was already sunny outside. I made sure to tell my manager at first that I would be absent for a few days due to an emergency, and she was kind enough to accept my request. She probably noticed something was off with me because I was sniffling and my voice sounded weak. Right now, I plan on telling my aunt, who lives near my area, about what happened and asking if I could live with her for a couple of days until I sort out my mind and know what I have to do next. I'm deeply heartbroken because I've told my boyfriend and my friends before how I felt about cheating and how it essentially ruined my family growing up and my young mind back then. My mom cheated on my dad and it broke our family, and I got cheated on by my first boyfriend. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like I overreacted and that I should have just went with it all. I still don't plan on opening my phone, so I'm using my laptop right now to type this. I don't know how to face and respond them all after what has happened. Maybe some time away from them will help. I hope. So there is an update, but before I give that, I want to give my 2 cents on this. Don't get mad at me. Do I think you overreacted? Yes, I do. It was a very poorly thought out joke if they just thought maybe he was cheating on you and then be like, "Oh, surprise," especially knowing that your past trauma of you being cheated on and of your family history. I think that's very, very bad. Was an overreaction? Sure. Do I blame you for it? No, because you don't know how you would react in that situation until you're in the situation. I think it's definitely something you can overcome because hopefully he obviously didn't really cheat on you, and you set that boundary. You say, "Listen, I can't even imagine or pretend or fake any of that stuff." With that being said, let's get into the update. After I submitted my original post, I packed my things that night and prepared to go to my aunt's house, which wasn't that far, but still a bit of a drive nonetheless. When I finally got there, she was incredibly welcoming and I thanked her for allowing me to stay in her house, even just for a while. She gave me a tight hug and told me that I was always welcome and that she will be there to help me when I need her to. She eventually led me to the spare bedroom that they have in their house and helped me unpack my stuff. She is honestly such an incredible woman and I love her so much. She's basically the mom I've always wanted. Once I was done unpacking, I was again confronted by the fact that I haven't opened my phone for quite some time now. I've avoided it for so long that I didn't think I could open it again, but I knew I had to. The moment my phone booted up, hundreds upon hundreds of texts, chats, and missed calls popped on my screen. Even as I was still hesitant, I decided to open my chats and looked at our friend group's group chat first. The chats from the start were all very frantic in nature, with my friends asking about where I was or what happened. But after scrolling down a few more times, the chats turned into them apologizing that the prank happened and that it was not on the plan at all. One of my friends even blamed the girl that was on top of Alex, my boyfriend, and thought she was untrustworthy. Finally, the chats ended up being them hoping they could contact me and wishing I was safe. I guess they knew I just read their chats because as soon as I was done back reading, my friends immediately knew I was online and asked how I was doing and where I was. They also started apologizing again for not being able to stop the prank from happening and that they didn't know that was going to happen and thought the original prank was going to be something else. At this point, I was thoroughly confused because they seemed happy enough to be there during that night, but I knew I had to apologize to them first for ghosting them and asking their side of the story first before speaking about what had happened. Essentially, they were simply planning a surprise party for me with Alex in a group chat that didn't include showed me. Then my boyfriend added a few more people into the group chat, saying that they were college friends of his and he wanted them to be part of the surprise too, since they also wanted to meet and get to know me better. As a suggestion, one of my boyfriend's college friends pitched the idea of them pranking me. The plan was my boyfriend is going to be on the couch with a serial killer holding a bloody knife and fake stabbing my boyfriend while the killer was on top of him and while my boyfriend is bleeding everywhere. My boyfriend's college friends thought it would be funny to see my reaction, although my friends were initially skeptical. They reassured them that it would be harmless fun and that once my boyfriend and the friend who will be acting as the killer got their desired reaction on camera, they can just tell me it was all a prank and my friends and my boyfriend's other college friends would come out and surprise me with their gifts and stuff. My friends eventually agreed so long as they don't drag out the prank and immediately reveal everything once they captured my reaction on camera. The day of my birthday comes and everything they've planned seems to be going smoothly, with them waiting for me. My boyfriend's college friends ushered everyone to hide while they set up the prank, and when it was done, they would hide too. When they finally heard my boyfriend say they can come out, they thought the prank was a success because I looked absolutely mortified, but they knew something was up when even after the prank was revealed, I was still looking shocked and almost teary-eyed even, until I finally turned around and left. They were understandably shook and confused, thinking the serial killer prank was too much, but knowing me, I wouldn't have minded it at all since I love scary movies and am an avid horror enjoyer. That was when they realized that my boyfriend's female college friend was on top of my boyfriend, not wearing any serial killer costume and not holding any fake bloody knife. Then they saw my boyfriend pushing his female college friend away from him and chasing after me. Some of them also tried to follow me, while some were asking what happened to the original plan. Even my boyfriend's other college friends were wondering why their female friend wasn't in costume, but she was just silent. After a few minutes, my boyfriend came back to our apartment looking distraught and crying. He then tells everyone that they should all go and proceeds to go to our bedroom. They wanted to ask him what happened, but he shut the door before they could. His female college friend then followed him inside, which really weirded them out, but after a while, they hear my boyfriend shouting at her, telling her to off. She then goes out the door on the verge of tears and leaves the apartment. They said everything happened so fast that they didn't know how to process all that has happened. Not too long after that though, they realized I was missing and started calling and texting me, but I didn't respond to any of them. Eventually, I was unreachable. I turned off my phone and decided they should just go home and wait for me to respond. My boyfriend's college friends apologized profusely to what has happened and didn't mean for any of this to happen, but they basically just ignored them. They then followed the retelling of their side with videos that they recorded that proved their accounts, along with an apology and wishing that I was doing well. After my friends told me what happened on their point of view, I felt really terrible and apologized again for ghosting them and telling them that everything that happened was not their fault. I told them that I would make it up to them soon, but they reassured me that they accept my apology and are just happy that I'm alive and well. They also pitched to have a late birthday celebration with me this weekend, and my boyfriend and his friends aren't included this time. I of course happily agreed and thanked them for being such great friends and that I really couldn't thank them enough for being such an awesome bunch of people. The next morning, my aunt knocks on my door and wakes me up, telling me that I have a visitor downstairs. She looked a bit mad, so I can already tell who it was. It was my boyfriend Alex, carrying this beautiful bouquet of flowers and my favorite chocolates with him. Even if he looked amazing, his face was the complete opposite because he looked like he was crying for days. I asked him how he found out about where I was and told me that once I turned on my phone again, an app on my phone that we both have notified him of my whereabouts. I was a bit frustrated that he actually came here to my aunt's house, but nevertheless, he was already there, so might as well just hear him out on what he had to say. He basically reiterated what my friends told me, but he added in some other details that my friends didn't know about. Apparently, his old college friends reconnected with him after he lost touch with them after they graduated. They found his Facebook account through some researching and wanted to ask him about his life after all of these years. They were especially happy when he told them that he currently has a boyfriend because they secretly knew he was bisexual, but didn't want to make assumptions or make him feel weird about it. Alex eventually tells them about me, and he mentions to him that our friends are planning a secret birthday surprise for me, and they immediately want to be part of it. After they were added to the group chat, they started suggesting ideas on how to make the surprise much more fun, until their female friend, we'll call her Anna, suggested that they do a prank to surprise me. Alex's college friends were immediately on board because they saw TikToks of it and they thought it was really funny, but my friends were obviously skeptical. Eventually, they agreed what the prank is going to be, and that prank wouldn't take too long. Anna volunteered to be the serial killer since it was her idea, and they all went and did their parts of the surprise so that everything would be ready when my birthday comes. The day of the surprise party comes, and everyone prepares for my arrival. When Anna and Alex went into their assigned positions for the prank, he wondered why she still wasn't in her costume and that her props were missing. But all she could reply was that she forgot. Alex offers to find the costume and props, but Anna insists that there's no more time and that I'm going to arrive soon. Alex at this point was extremely uncomfortable and wanted to get out of their position. But before he could do it, I've already opened the door and saw them. He admits he messed up by laughing at my reaction because it was exactly the reaction he thought I was going to make, but immediately realized what it looked like and called everyone to come out to save himself from the embarrassment and give context to what I was seeing. When he realized that didn't work, he forcefully pushed Anna away to chase after me, but he wasn't able to keep up once I got into my car. It then sunk into him that he messed up big time and that when I drove away, that's when he remembered my trauma about cheating, which made him cry while returning to our apartment. He tells everyone to leave and retreats to our bedroom, not really knowing what to do. To his shock, Anna comes into our room unannounced and starts comforting Alex. He repeatedly tells her to leave and that he'll be fine, but what really set him off was Anna asking him, "So, does that mean you're single now?" That's when he realized she did it on purpose. Alex then shouts at her and angrily asks her to leave, which she then complies to after looking like she just embarrassed herself. Alex is in tears at this point and he tells me that he wishes he just didn't agree with the prank. He's cut off contact with his college friends for now and is incredibly sorry about what happened. He then starts hugging me really tight and says that he loves me so much and that he's scared of losing me. His words alone made me cry because even after everything, I still love him deeply and I do believe everything he said. After a minute or two of us hugging and crying, he lets me go and tells me that we should go back to our apartment, but if I still need time and space, he'll gladly give it to me. I give him a kiss and respond to him with me asking to help me pack my stuff. Of course, I gave my aunt the warmest of hugs and told her how much I appreciated her for helping me. She was happy things got resolved, but also jokingly threatened my boyfriend that if he did something stupid or hurtful to me again, she'll personally whisk me away to safety and away from him. My boyfriend laughed, but I think he was just hiding his nervousness. Now I'm back in our apartment and Alex even offered to throw away the couch that was used for the prank, but I declined since it's a pretty nice couch and everything that has happened was something no one wanted, aside from Anna probably. I've already made amends with my boyfriend and we've probably forgiven each other, and my friends are happy that things worked out in the end. I've already made amends with my boyfriend and we've both forgiven each other, and my friends are happy that things worked out in the end. Alex is probably now invited to the weekend party, but I've yet to ask my friends. Haha. Okay, so they say this is gonna be my last post, whatever. But for some reason, guys, this gets juicier. He has another update. How much farther was this? A couple months after. And he says, so a few days after my previous update, Alex, my now ex-boyfriend, came up to me while sobbing and confessed that he hasn't told me the complete truth about Anna. Apparently, him and Anna were a couple back then. She was his girlfriend and he did a lot of his first with her. Coincidence. Why did you forget all that information? That's why she felt so comfortable to jump your bones when you guys were there. Once they graduated, Anna broke things off with him because she can't handle long-distance relationships and didn't want to be tied down yet. Anna breaking up with him caused him to go into a spiral and develop severe depression along with self-harming tendencies, something he still goes to therapy for. It took a lot of work for him to get out of that hole and to be a functioning human adult again, but things apparently didn't completely change for the better for him until he met me. As I quote, I was the light at the end of the tunnel that he desperately wanted to get out of. But I guess ghosts from the past have their way of coming back to haunt you. A few weeks before my birthday, Alex's college friend found his Facebook and contacted him to reconnect. Things went well for them until he was added into their group chat that had Anna in it as well. As he said, it definitely reignited some old feelings that he had, and it also didn't help that Anna was acting like nothing bad happened between the two of them. They agreed to meet to catch up. One thing led to another until that one thing ended up being them sleeping together every day up until the birthday surprise. LOL. According to him, he was trying to bring back those strong feelings and emotions that he once felt back when he was with Anna. But seeing me look ruined and distraught made him realize that what he had with me was incomparable to what him and Anna had. So I guess that's what led him to confess and be all remorseful. Of course, I had to hear him apologize and cry in front of me, and I did cry too. But I couldn't bear being around him anymore after hearing all of that. I then calmly told him that I accept his apology, but that I didn't want to be with him anymore and that I'd be leaving the apartment and sort things out once we're both in clearer states of mind. He didn't like that one bit and started sobbing, like crazy, even went as far as hugging me incredibly tight just so that I wouldn't go. It was a struggle, but I eventually got out of his clutches by pushing him away hard enough. I ran as fast as I could, ironic, to get to my car and immediately headed to my aunt's house. When I got there, I just sobbed into my aunt's arms and felt incredibly weak. She probably understood why I was crying that much without asking me why. So she started consoling me until I was too tired to cry and slept. Yesterday, I got a call from a friend of Alex that he's in the hospital after being found unresponsive and full of cuts on his arms. I didn't want to go because obviously I'm still hurt about everything, but Alex doesn't have any family anywhere near him and I'm the only one who knows about his medical history and details. So I had to. When I got there, his arms were full of bandages and his face looked all puffy and red. Right now, I'm outside the hospital room waiting for his doctors to give me an update or tell me anything or something that I should do. He also hasn't woken up yet, so I'm bracing myself for when he does. Truthfully, I do still love him very much, but what he did just made it clear for me that we're not meant to be together. I don't know what I'll do moving forward after all this, but I'll just let the universe take the wheel for me at this point. I just wish things didn't end up this way. Can I just say, I don't think I've stated this yet. That was a stupid prank initially. What kind of person says, hey, we should prank and pretend that someone's getting murdered, that the love of your life is getting murdered on their birthday? That just sounds so dumb to me. And they thought, hey, this would make the party better. What? I don't understand how that, I almost died. Happy birthday. I was actually really happy for the second update when you guys got back together and cleared the thing air up. I'm really sad to see the third update about what happened. This was exhausting. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Thank you guys for watching this episode of The Gray Between. I'm not even gonna do the viewer submission this time because I literally need to stop and walk away. This drained me. I'm gonna give you my outro, but what do I say? Thanks for joining me on this episode of The Gray Between. If you have a story that you want to share or a dilemma you'd like me to weigh in on, don't hesitate to reach out. But remember, life isn't always black and white. I can't. Goodbye. I can't do that.